Remember the future? Not the one promised by flying cars and self-lacing shoes, but the one projected onto the silver screen at the turn of the millennium. A future painted in shades of green, blue, and black, where neon lights reflected off rain-slicked streets, and humanity grappled with technology in the shadows. This was the aesthetic of films like The Matrix, I, Robot, and even Tokyo Drift. All these films shared a particular visual language, and we're going to discuss that today and its absence in today's media. These movies didn't shy away from the dark. They embraced it, using it to craft worlds that felt both familiar and deeply unsettling. The darkness wasn't just an aesthetic choice. It was a character in itself, shaping the mood, driving the narrative, and reflecting the inner turmoil of the protagonists. The Matrix is perhaps the most iconic example of this dark, energetic aesthetic. The film's signature green tint wasn't just a stylistic choice. It was a visual representation of the Matrix itself, a digital world that imprisoned humanity's minds. The green hue evoked a sense of sickness, of being trapped within a digital nightmare. This unsettling color palette was further enhanced by the film's masterful use of light and shadow. Scenes often took place in dimly lit rooms, with characters emerging from the darkness into pools of artificial light. This created a sense of paranoia and claustrophobia, reflecting the character's struggle to break free from the Matrix's control. While the Matrix utilized green to represent a digital prison, I, Robot opted for a different shade of unease blue. The film, set in a future where robots are commonplace, bathes its world in cool, steely blues, creating an atmosphere of sterility and detachment. This coldness reflects the film's exploration of the dehumanizing potential of technology, where human connection is increasingly replaced by interactions with machines. Tokyo Drift takes the concept of a dark, energetic aesthetic and infuses it with the neon-drenched energy of Tokyo's underground racing scene. The film's visuals are a sensory overload of flashing lights, roaring engines, and rain-slicked asphalt. But beneath the surface of this high-octane spectacle lies a sense of alienation and unease. The film's protagonist, Sean Boswell, is an outsider, adrift in a foreign land, and struggling to find his place. Section 5. The Power of Darkness, Mood, Atmosphere, and Emotion. These films, despite their differences in genre and narrative, share a common thread: the masterful use of darkness to evoke mood, build atmosphere, and heighten emotional impact. The darkness isn't merely an aesthetic choice, it's a storytelling tool, a way to immerse the audience in the character's world and amplify their emotional journey. Section 6. A shift in sensibilities, the rise of bright colors and clean aesthetics. In recent years, however, there's been a noticeable shift in media aesthetics. The dark, gritty worlds of The Matrix, I, Robot, and Tokyo Drift have given way to brighter, cleaner, and more visually sterile environments. Section 7. Why the Change? Exploring potential reasons. The shift towards brighter, cleaner aesthetics could also be a reflection of changing cultural attitudes. The early 2000s, with the dot-com bubble burst and the specter of 9/11, were a time of uncertainty and anxiety. Films like The Matrix, I, Robot, and Tokyo Drift reflected these anxieties, offering audiences a glimpse into a world that felt dark and dangerous, but hopeful and full of story. Section 8. A final thought: the enduring allure of darkness. While the trend toward brighter, more visually sterile aesthetics is undeniable, it's important to note that the allure of darkness hasn't completely faded. There are still filmmakers and audiences who appreciate the power of shadow and light, of color and texture, to tell a story and evoke emotion. The success of shows like Stranger Things, with its 1980s nostalgia and synth-heavy soundtrack, suggests that there's still an appetite for darker, more atmospheric storytelling. The show's visual style, inspired by classic Amblin Entertainment films, harks back to a time when mood and atmosphere were just as important as special effects. Ultimately, the choice of aesthetic is subjective. What one viewer finds visually appealing, another may find dull or uninspired. But it's important to remember that visuals are more than just window dressing. They're a powerful tool for storytelling, capable of shaping our perceptions, evoking emotions, and transporting us to other worlds. And sometimes, the most effective way to tell a story is to embrace the darkness.